Cathie, it's budget season. So here we are. It's always the time of year when we want to put out the new tax tables. We've listened to Tita Mbowebi's budget, and we've had the privilege of listening to Professor Jackie Arendse talk about the new tax and what is actually in for South African citizens for the next year. But one of the things that was most interesting is that, in fact, the tax tables themselves haven't changed. What does that mean for the man in the street?
Yes.
And the woman in the street?
All of us.
Gender specific.
All of us. So what it means is that because they usually would change the brackets by CPI value or average CPI, and our salaries would hopefully go up by CPI, there wouldn't really be a change in the tax that we're paying. But by our salaries possibly and hopefully going up by CPI and the brackets staying the same, you're actually paying more tax and going home with less money, even though you've had an increase.
So is there a significant change for the people at the lower end of the earning brackets? Because that's where typically the most pain is felt, when you can't afford the basic staples. Would that have made quite a big difference?
No. So there has been a small change in the primary and secondary rebates.
Okay.
So if your salary stayed exactly the same, you would go home with 153 Rand more per year, which doesn't even, I don't think, buy you a loaf of bread each month. So
£12.50 a month or something.
no,
like that.
exactly.
Quick
It's
maths
not
in my head there.
significant.
Okay.
Yes, so it's interesting that this has been done, and I don't think that everybody knows that this is what's happened. So we have become very used to getting a bit more money every March. It's not going to happen in 2019.
And if we listened to Jackie, did she give any reasoning behind the thinking of doing this? Has anything come out about that, or has it simply just been announced and without discussion around the logic?
I don't think there's been discussion around the logic. The impression that I had from basically very little change in the budget speech to taxes and increased some taxes and new taxes like carbon tax is that really revenue is scrambling everywhere to get as much tax in as possible because we need it.
So really what we're talking about here is that if you, as a taxpayer, to be aware that if you have had simply CPI increases, there could be slightly less in your pay packet this year, but there is protection for the lower earning brackets.
A little.
Thank you, Catherine.